Hi and welcome everyone, Lisa here. Thanks for joining me. So today I'm sharing a few cards that have me introducing a new company to the craft community, Crescent Creations. You're going to be able to find them over on Etsy and I'll have that linked below. Now they sent me some goodies to share with you guys. So from left to right, we have a metallic gold jewels, Christmas sequin mix, ornament sequins, which I believe is limited, and then we have Glory of the Snow jewel mix, Snow White seed beads, and then snowflake clay bits. So let's go ahead and create a shaker card since we have all these pretty sequin mixes here. I ran some pattern paper from the Carta, a Very Merry Christmas pad, through my die cut machine, and I just decided on what pieces of that pattern paper I wanted to use, trimmed them down just enough to run through the die cut machine so I wasn't wasting my paper, and then ran it through with the die. I'm using some Sequin tape to the back of my Slimline frame, and we're going to go ahead and place some acetate on the back here to close up those shaker windows, and I just trimmed that down with my paper trimmer. Now I'm going to temporarily center this Slimline frame on my card base. This is a Slimline card base that measures 3.5 inches by 8.5 inches. Temporarily lay that down on the card base and add on-point glue to each of those windows where I'm placing that pattern paper. Now, I love these Slimline dies. They have all the little windows. I feel like with the right pattern paper, you're telling a story and it's just so much fun. So now I'm going to take some double-sided adhesive, foam adhesive, and I've just doubled it over on itself. And I'm going to trim down pieces to go around our Slimline frame so that we can create our shaker card. Now I'm going to be using a mix of the Christmas sequin mix and the gold metallic jewels in my shaker. They have a great retro feel to them, and I thought it would be perfect with this paper that I'm using. Now this is something you won't see me doing very often, cutting more acetate to go on the back of the shaker card. I don't normally do that, but this day I said, you know what, if it's going to make life easier, I'm going for it. And it did. So it was so easy just to go ahead and place that shaker down on my Slimline card base after I closed the back of those up. I ran a Christmas sentiment through my die cut machine and with some green paper from the paper pad, adding on-point glue to the back of it so I can add it to my card. And then I'll just go ahead and snip the ends of this off, and that's going to wrap this card up. But I do love the way this turned out. I think it just screams a retro Christmas, and I love that. This card here, super simple to do. The die cutting of the pattern paper was just like I did with the first card. I'm using some dye inks here to go over this Slimline frame. Now this is different than the first one. And I'm using Lakeshore and Barely Beige ink just to tone down the whiteness of that die cut Slimline frame. To me, it was too much with the pattern paper that I decided to use. Again, I'm going to temporarily lay this die cut frame down on my card base so that I can place the die cut papers in each little window. Again, telling that fun little story. I'm going to add mounting foam to the back of this die cut frame. Now we won't need any acetate with this one because we're actually off screen. I tied my ornament sequins onto silver thread and spaced them out a bit. Now next time I won't leave quite so much space between them, but we live and we learn, right? What I've done here is I decided it was so much easier to run one piece of the silver thread with the little ornament sequins on there from one side to the other and then trim it. I tried doing back and forth, but the thread is so fine that it didn't want to stick to the back of the mounting foam. So I just decided, you know what, I'm not fighting with this, just cut some pieces and run it from one side to the other. Now I did double up on those pieces to make it look like there's actually more sequins hanging there than I originally had because I had them spaced out too far. So just keep that in the spacing of your sequins in mind when you're doing this. Go ahead and stamp my sentiment using VersaFine Clair Pinecone ink. I absolutely love my VersaFine Clair inks. They never fail me. Every time I use them, I always get a perfect stamped image every time. Love these inks. I'm constantly grabbing for them for sentiments and for solid stamped images, and this ink is perfect for heat embossing. So be sure to join me again next week. I'll be sharing another card featuring the Glory of the Snow jewel mix. Don't forget, hop along. I have the next person in line listed in the description box and on my blog. As always, you guys, I appreciate you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed the video, and until next time, take care and keep crafting.